How do you put a team together that harnesses the strengths of the individual to the strengths of the team?
Yeah.
And understanding the opportunities of the individual and work on those with them so that they can actually connect those dots across the team and you drive more team performance.
Hello and welcome to the Leadership Launchpad. I hope by now you are enjoying these conversations with learning leaders from the DevLearn conference in Las Vegas as much as I am, where each and every time I ask them one simple question: what is one thing you wish more managers knew about training? Today's discussion is a great one because I got to talk with Carson, who is the Chief Learning Officer at Docebo. Before he worked there, where that's kind of more of an internal industry role, he was a learning leader at Starbucks, a learning leader at Walmart. He has literally worked as the head of learning at some of the largest organizations on the planet. So I was really excited to get his take. And the way the conversation evolved, it really focused on this idea of managers understanding that they are the center of the employee performance experience, right? Their performance is a multifaceted thing, and improving performance is equally multifaceted. Training has a role to play. The manager has a role to play. It plays into how they're actually doing work out on the shop floor or wherever they happen to work. And the manager sits in the middle of all of this. And so understanding that role is really critical to being a successful manager. It was a really great discussion. I hope you enjoy it.
Brandon, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm really excited to get your take on this question that I've been asking everybody, because you have been at the head of learning for literally some of the largest organizations on the planet.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure you've had a lot of interactions with from the C-suite all the way down to frontline managers. So I would really love to know, what is one thing you wish every manager knew about training?
Yes, great question. Thank you. So when I look at training, I'm always thinking about performance.
Yeah.
So for every manager, and one of the biggest challenges a lot of people have across large distributed workforces is what we call time to learn. Giving the time, thinking about it less transactional. As less of a transaction of, oh, go do your training, then come back to work.
Yeah.
Thinking less of it as a transaction and more of it as connected to the business value that the workforce creates.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a manager's responsibility to understand what their workforce needs to be able to do.
Yes.
Not what they need to know, what they need to be able to do.
Yes.
And then connect that to their performance and know where training and or learning, whatever you want to call it, where this fits in to that cycle of performance, if you will. And managers are that sweet spot of performance because people come to managers or they quit managers.
Very true.
So it's really critical that the manager has that coachability in them as well to understand what strengths and opportunities are that each individual on their team has, and then be able to connect the dots of where formal training and even less formal training can help them end to end in their performance. It's really critical for a manager to have the responsibility of that. Take that on.
Yeah. I think there's a theme coming up in all these conversations. It's around this idea of being connected to the performance, being connected to the business.
Yeah.
You're the first one that's brought up, though, this idea of time, I think, and making sure that managers really think about it, not as a one and done transaction, but something that is going to take time. I don't know, are there any realistic guidelines? I mean, I know this goes all over the place, but just like, what should managers be thinking in terms of their expectations of, if I want to change somebody's performance, what does it realistically take?
Yeah. Well, to change performance, you're changing human behavior.
Yes.
And that's probably the hardest thing you can do.
Yes.
Across the enterprise. And if the manager doesn't have the capability to understand that, and that's why I go back to that coaching connection, if you will, or understanding how to coach for performance. That's one of the most critical kind of aspects that a manager can bring to an experience for an individual on their team. It's also candidly understanding team dynamics, because most of the future of work is team-based, not individual-based. So how do you construct the most effective team? How do you put a team together that harnesses the strengths of the individual to the strengths of the team.
Yeah.
And understanding the opportunities of the individual and work on those with them so that they can actually connect those dots across the team and you drive more team performance.
Yeah.
So I think that's not talked about a lot. I've been in some retail situations in my career where it was about the team itself.
Mm-hmm.
And so the manager's greatest action is to be able to understand the strengths and opportunities of each individual and then schedule that team or bring that team together to highlight and amplify those strengths to drive performance.
Okay.
Those are a couple of things that come to mind, but it's, the manager is the crucial component. And I would say in retail operations or frontline operations, that first level manager is the hardest job out there because one, you have to drive performance on the team.
Yes.
But two, you're usually interfacing with customers or with those that are directly involved in what the business does.
Yeah.
So you get that squeeze, if you will. And so it's not an easy job. And too often we promote people into managerial positions because they can execute on the KPIs or they can get things done.
Yeah.
But that added dimension of being able to build effective teams and motivate performance across the team is really important. And that coachability is important.
And that coaching for performance piece, because we often look to the great IC, the great individual contributor, it's that old adage of great players don't make great coaches. Right. And so because they were great at it, there's often that gap there of not even necessarily being able to see or understand what it takes to coach someone, because for whatever reason, maybe they didn't have, like, it clicks for them.
Right.
And so how do you, I guess, what is one piece of advice you would give to help develop that skill in yourself of being able to coach for performance?
I would say the biggest unlock for you, if you decide to go a managerial route and you want to take on that responsibility, and it's a responsibility.
It is.
It's big for the business.
And it needs to be a choice.
Yeah.
It should be a deliberate choice.
It's a deliberate choice. It's not about power.
Yeah.
It's not about salary. I always say don't chase title and money, chase opportunity.
Yeah.
So if the opportunity for you is to be leading teams and be in that space, then I would say the best managers I've had are those ones that have been humble.
Yeah.
They're self-aware.
Yeah.
They understand what performance in the business is like. They understand the business, but they are human-centered, and they get the fact that humans are messy, and we're going to have the algorithmic kind of augmentation coming forward as well. So you have to balance those two things. So I'd say the biggest unlock is that you need to be a talent developer first. Yes. If you want to go into managerial positions where you're leading others, you really have to think about that managerial capability and effectiveness comes from developing talent all the time. I had a conversation once with the chief operating officer of one of the companies I worked at, pretty big company. And I asked him, how do you split your day? How do you divide your day?
Yeah.
And because he's running a really big business, right? And I was interested in that. And he said, one third of my day is what do my people need from me as their leader? Meaning his direct reports. What do they need? Right. So that's a third of his day to make sure that those needs are met. Any hurdles are, he's helping them cross. Barriers he's reducing.
Yeah.
The other third is what does the business need from me? I'm leading this business. What do I need to be focused on? And then the final third was about himself. Like, what do I need to be focused on to make myself, a better leader, a better business person, a better individual?
Yeah.
Right. So think about, as you mentioned, intention.
Yeah.
Think about the intention you bring to the role of leading others. It's a big responsibility.
Yeah.
And even on top of that, being able to be that talent developer where you focus on changing behavior and helping people grow and developing their capabilities and understanding their aspirations. Yeah. I would say as a manager, the three things that define high performance for you is going to be recognizing agility, adaptability, and aspirations in your team. Look for those three things, understand people at those three levels, and then you will be able to determine who your high performers are, who are the ones that need more work from you, and you have to make yourself available for that.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, super appreciated, Brandon. Thank you so much for the time.
It was fun. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening in on the conversation. I hope you got as much out of it as I did. If you are a manager yourself and you're looking for more insight onto how to better lead your team, please make sure to check out some of our other amazing episodes. If you are responsible for developing leaders in your organization and you're struggling to make programs that actually change behavior and actually impact the business, please reach out so we can figure out how to make your organization better every day. Drop me a line using matt@bettereverydaystudios.com. I look forward to the conversation.